Let's talk about Slowdive. You know, that hazy, beautiful, iconic sound. But what if I told you that we're not just listening to a collection of songs? What if we're actually uncovering a hidden story, a single character's journey, told across their entire 30-year career?
I mean, really think about that. What if all those lyrics about love and the sun and sinking, what if they weren't disconnected thoughts, but actual chapters in one single epic narrative? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore.
Because it's pretty wild, but when you line up the lyrics from their 1981 debut all the way to their latest album, a really clear character arc starts to emerge. We're going to follow the life of this protagonist, all the way from their helpless beginnings to a kind of weary, hard-won wisdom. So what's at the heart of our character's struggle? It all boils down to this one idea: melancholic codependency. Now, that sounds a little academic, I know, but what it really means is a relationship that's literally built on shared sadness. It's where the pain isn't just a side effect, the pain is the connection.
All right, so to really get this, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning, part 1. This is where we meet our protagonist, and, they're not a hero at all, not yet. They're what we're going to call the helpless sufferer.
On their very first album, Just for a Day, our character's pain is never their fault. This stage is all about external fatalism. The suffering is always coming from the outside. It's this overwhelming force, like giant waves or a fire in the head. It's something that just happens to them, and they are completely powerless to stop it.
And get this, they even give this misery a name. It's personified as the sad man. How creepy is that? It's not just a feeling anymore, it's a full-on antagonist, a thing with agency that is actively coming for you.
So what you end up with is this person who's just completely swamped. They feel blind, they feel numb. The only tiny bit of relief they can find is when nature itself steps in. You know, like in that one lyric, The Waves, they just soothe my pain away. It's just this one moment of peace in the middle of all that chaos.
But then, everything changes. That storm that was raging on the outside, it moves inward. It settles right into the claustrophobic heart of a relationship. And that brings us to part 2, destructive codependent love. Now we're at their iconic album, Souvlaki. And suddenly, the enemy isn't some abstract sad man anymore. No, the problem is the relationship. It's the sheer intensity and pain of intimacy. And the whole album just perfectly captures this tension between two powerful images: the burning passion of fire and the shared terror of sinking in water. There's actually a name for this whole dynamic. It's a literary device called the dagger/wound trope. And the idea is really simple, but so powerful. It's that in this relationship, the protagonist is both the weapon causing the pain and the wound that is being hurt. And really, you couldn't ask for a more perfect piece of evidence than this line from the song Dagger. It just lays it all out there. It perfectly captures that feeling of mutual, inseparable harm that defines this entire chapter of our character's life. So you end up with this insane emotional whiplash. On one hand, you have this incredible, almost frightening passion. Sweet thing, I watch you, burns so fast it scares me. But on the other hand, you have this shared, terrifying realization that it's all doomed. Allison, I said, we're sinking. So after a relationship that explosive, that intense, where do you go? What do you do? Well, our character retreats. They go inward. And that kicks off part 3 of the story, the journey into the fragmented inner world. So when we get to the album Pygmalion, the whole rulebook gets tossed out the window. There's no clear narrative anymore. It's all about what's happening inside the character's head, this phase of radical internality. The outside world just fades away, and the lyrics become sparse, repetitive, almost like echoes in a shattered mind. This line, right here, is the key to the whole album. Reality isn't defined by external forces or other people anymore. It's become 100% subjective. Our protagonist's entire existence is their inner world. Their dream, their soul, their mind, that's everything now. Okay, so if the whole battle is taking place inside your own head now, what are you even fighting? You're fighting the past. All those memories of that destructive love from the Souvlaki days, they've turned into ghosts, and they are haunting this inner world. And this right here, this is the mission statement. It's an explicit command to take action, not in the real world, but inside the landscape of the mind.
It's time to finally confront and defeat the trauma of what happened before. And this is where it gets really wild. There's actually data to back up this whole emotional journey. A sentiment analysis of the lyrics shows Just for a Day is deeply negative. Souvlaki is volatile, but still leans negative. But look what happens. After the band's long hiatus, their self-titled album moves into positive territory. That's a huge shift in perspective. And that positive shift leads us right into the final act of our character's story. This is part 4, The Weary Survivor's Wisdom. On their 2 most recent albums, you can just feel it. The crisis is over. This stage is defined by this idea of weary persistence. Our protagonist is older now. They're looking back on everything, processing the past with a wisdom that's tired, yeah, but also incredibly resilient. And here, we meet the final antagonist of the entire story. It's not the sad man, it's not a destructive lover, it's time itself. Time is the ultimate corrosive force that wears down relationships, ideals, everything. And this is where our protagonist finally lands. It's this beautiful, balanced wisdom. They accept the hard reality that 2 lives are hard lives. But that pessimism is now matched by this quiet, persistent hope. This belief that everything starts anew. So there you have it, an incredible 30-year journey, all in 4 acts. From a helpless sufferer to a codependent in a painful romance, through a retreat into the fragmented mind, and finally emerging on the other side as the weary survivor. Which leaves us with just one last thought. There's a key phrase in the lyrics, curious woe, that strange, bittersweet mix of love and pain. We've just followed one character's lifelong struggle with it. So what does that idea mean in your life? What is curious woe to you?